There's always a huge discussion around the concept of free speech. What should be protected, what should be upheld, and what should be omitted. And it's always a very interesting debate, and one that we can never shy away from in this country. Free speech should be the law of the land. Everywhere you go should have it. You should not be persecuted for having an opinion said on your own time. But we live in an age where that's not possible, which is one of the reasons why, and this is me shilling a little bit, is on April 21st and 22nd in Phoenix, Arizona is going to be the Kilroy event, which is a 2-day conference on free speech and why it is important. And we will have speakers there from a multitude of walks of life. And there's been some drama surrounding it, obviously, but I do recommend, if you are interested in free speech, to check it. So Florida is banning free speech zones at colleges. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I first heard this title, saw the title, my initial thought was Florida's doing something really, really, really stupid. Because if you look at the title, Florida bans free speech zones at state colleges. It kind of sounds like typical Florida man does something stupid, right? But the title is misleading. In fact, every article I've looked at so far on this, the couple I've looked at, have been misleading in their title. It's not as bad as it seems. It's actually pretty good, maybe with one exception. Now, it says here that Florida Governor Rick Scott signed into law a bill banning so-called free speech zones at public universities and allowing students and speakers to sue the schools for violating their First Amendment rights. So yeah, oftentimes on college campuses, free speech zones are kind of relegated to small contained areas. And ultimately, I'm not against that because I do believe that free speech is essential and that we need to protect it. But also there are places where, you know, disruptions can happen and you want to make sure things are okay. But this pretty much does away with that. This does away with that entirely. And I can't say that I'm mad at that because I would rather there be open speech than restricted speech. And if this feels like free speech zones were restricting people expressing their opinion, then yeah, I'm fine with that. That's okay. It kind of turns the entire campus the opposite of a safe space. So again, that's even going to be more fun when it comes to some of the articles that are going to come out from, you know, people who are upset. Now, free speech zones are limited areas, sometimes only fractions of a campus, where students may express themselves freely. Critics argue that an entire campus should allow free speech, not small restrictive areas, which is very, very, very true. The legislation, called the Excellence in Higher Education Act, reads, a public institution of higher education may not designate any areas as campus free speech zones or otherwise create policies restricting expressive activities to a particular outdoor area of campus. Now, of course, what this means is that anyone can walk around with that aborted fetus sign, you know, or you know, support Black Lives Matter, or the wage gap is real, or aliens did 9/11, or Alex Jones is truth. Anyone can walk around with those all the time, and that could be a problem for some people that are going to be triggered by literally anything that they see. But this bill basically kind of tells them to shove it. And that's actually kind of funny. So I'm kind of okay with that. Now, students, faculty, and staff of a public institution of higher education may not materially disrupt previously scheduled or reserved activities on campus occurring at the same time. So what this essentially means is it will be illegal on campus for student protesters or teachers or faculty, whatever, to help or disrupt a previously scheduled event. So a few weeks ago, I was in Portland, you know, for the James Damore speech. People like got up at 6:30, a half hour in, and they were like, time to go. And like, you know, 7 people left, and one, you know, ham beast ran towards the microphone and tried pulling it out, and then was super upset that she was getting cited by the campus police because she didn't understand she had done something wrong. In her mind, everything was fine. She thought she was doing something good. It shows you the ills of social justice. But that being said, this would make that illegal. And that's fine with me. So it's kind of like an anti-protest bill. It really is. It actually kind of boils down to being an anti-protest bill. So Scott, a Republican, signed the bill on Sunday, saying here that, or this comes from Senate President Joe Negron, a Republican, no one has the right to shut down speech simply because it makes someone feel uncomfortable, which is very true. And we do need to see more of that protected. When you have people out there that are like, I have free speech, and they're met with people saying like, no, you don't, your speech sucks, I'm better than you, I'm gonna drown you out, and then, you know, I'm gonna cry that you're being able to talk, but when I'm being really fascist towards you right now, that would be basically kind of an actionable offense, so to speak. And the reason why is because supporters of the legislation pointed to the riots in February 2017 at the University of California, Berkeley, when demonstrators prevented libertarian commentator Milo Yiannopoulos, a Florida resident, from speaking on campus. Berkeley spent nearly $800,000 on security, and that was a shit show of epic, wonderful proportions. And also, Milo, he says, come on, can you really look at Milo Yiannopoulos and go like, he's a libertarian? I mean, 1-800, come on now. Okay, come on. No. All right. I know Milo. I have nothing against him, but no. I don't think he's a libertarian. The Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, or FIRE, dedicated to protecting free speech on public universities, support the law, as they should, as they very much should. Joe Cohn, Legislative and Policy Director for FIRE, says students shouldn't have their free speech rights quarantined into misleadingly labeled free speech zones, and unfortunately, public institutions in Florida are doing just that. It's not just in Florida, but it is everywhere. Every state has this. Every public university has this. And oftentimes it's kind of pushed into the back like, oh, no, you want to have your free speech there, honey? You got to go all the way in the back. Yeah, no, past the cafeteria, past the gymnasium. It's going to be in the back corner next to the burnouts and the homophobes. There you go. That's where you can go, next to the homophobes. I don't know why I said that, but I just did. So the cause of action clause in the new Florida law says, a person whose expressive rights are violated by an action prohibited under this section may bring an action against a public institution of higher education in a court of competent jurisdiction to obtain a declaratory and injunctive relief, reasonable court costs, and attorney fees. What does that mean? If for some reason you're getting ready to express yourself on a college campus, if a public college campus in Florida, and you have already pre-scheduled the event, you've paid the fee, you got everything set up, and here come a group of the hairiest, most lesbianist Antifa you've ever seen in your entire life, and they want to try to shout down the event, and they want to disrupt the event, they can then be sued. You can take action against them. And that's the whole thing. That's the cause of action. So if someone comes over to try to mess with something you've already previously set up, you then have the ability to basically fire back at them legally. And that's something that is wholly new. And that can go both ways, by the way. I know people are thinking like, Antifa is going to get a lawsuit. But in some cases, we've seen, maybe not like let's say Republicans shut down liberal events, but there's clashes that happen. It goes either way. All right. But more often than not, you're going to have the liberals being upset at the conservatives, and they're the ones that are going to act. So that's probably, I would say, 9 times out of 10. Now, the Florida American Civil Liberties Union supported the bill except for the cause of action provision. Although lawmakers removed a provision on compensatory damages, Florida ACLU spokesperson Gabby Guadalupe says the law will allow someone to sue a university campus and facility for students booing too loud or too long in reserved spaces on campus. Now, Joe Cohn says that they're wrong about that, unlike other affiliates, but this group looks forward to working with them on issues of common ground. So he's saying that it's like they can't sue for people booing too loud, but I'm pretty sure there's a line somewhere that someone's going to eventually cross. So they're going to have to, they might have a new bill, but then someone still has to set that legal precedent. So that will be happening. The new law ensures that our taxpayer-funded college and university campuses remain open for the free, safe, and respectful expression of differing viewpoints, Negron said. Dating back to antiquity, institutions of higher education have served as a forum for free speech and the open exchange of ideas. And, here's the thing. Florida does a lot that's bad. All right, you probably thought that when I started this thing off, like, oh, Florida, ooh, something bad gonna happen in Florida. There's actually something good happening in Florida. People need to realize that college safe spaces are a bad idea. Colleges are not there to limit your speech, to limit your thinking, to limit your mind expansion. They're the exact opposite of those things. But when you have people that are just relegated on their free speech to certain parts of the campus that no one ever goes to or whatever, or events that are planned, that are applied for, that are approved, that are set up, that are paid for, and they are then disrupted by groups of people hell-bent on shutting them down simply because they disagree with the opinions of the speaker, there do need to be some kind of legal protection for that. And that, of course, I think is where this law comes into play. Now, of course, I don't want there to be frivolous actions here, frivolous lawsuits for people booing or hissing too long or whatever. but there will be clear defined actions. Someone trying to destroy equipment, someone trying to block entry, someone using the fire alarm, so on and so forth. And those are things that should be gone after by, by people who feel like their time has been wasted, by others who think that by acting like children, they're going to get their political ideals across. So I actually applaud Florida for this one and hope that other states follow suit sooner rather than later. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you haven't already, thumbs it up, hit on that subscribe, check out 3 Buck Theater, check out Mundane Chats, or if you just want to help support the channel, the best way to do that is patreon.com/mundanemet, link below in the video description. Thank you guys again, have yourself a great day, and peace out.